All right, everyone. This is Michael Patterson, aka Mike the Travel Lover. I have a very, very special episode this particular evening, and I've been looking forward. It's been over a year and some change in the making. I have Veranda Adkins, who is co-founder and president of the Association of Black Travel Professionals on for this particular episode. So I just wanted to say from myself to you, thank you so much for coming on and doing this interview. And hopefully, everyone who watches this will be able to benefit and hopefully join your association. So, can you tell everyone a little bit more about your background, your travel background?
Sure. So first of all, thank you so much for having me on. I know we, like you said, it's been over a year in the making, and then we had a phone call a couple weeks ago, and it was like, okay, let's stop chatting because we need to save some for the show. So
That's
always
right.
great conversation. So I definitely appreciate the opportunity. I have been in the travel industry since 2000. I started my career at Travel Impressions. My degree is in human resources, so I started as human resources, moved into like the training department, then the sales department, and back in 2014, when there was a lot of mergers and things like that happening with Travel Impressions and ALG at the time, I left the company and I started my own agency. So I am 10 years in business by myself now as of March this year,
Okay.
and have just enjoyed all the ups and downs and craziness that comes with our industry.
That is right. That is right. We have been through a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. Shantae, who is actually the other co-founder of ABTP, she sent me a text today about some issues that she was having with a client in Europe, and my response back to her was, anybody with any sense would leave this industry. But I guess we're glad for punishment, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, so I've been in 24 years total now. So yeah,
Wow, wow,
yeah.
that's amazing. Well, congratulations. So, what inspired you to start the Association of Black Travel Professionals?
You know what? It was a combination of things. I mentioned Shantae a few minutes ago. Shantae and I met back in 2017 in a Facebook group, and she and I would just always like she had a question, and I will tell you that I'm not very social on social media, but somehow I answered her question, and she and I just formed this workship. I wouldn't call it a friendship yet. We formed this workship where she would, text me and say, "Hey, have you been to this place?" Or I would text her and be like, "Hey, have you seen this property yet?" And those were the kind of texts that we did. But because I had a background from the wholesale side, there was a lot of things that I would like say to her, um, like, "Hey, they'll do this if you do that," or talk to your BDM about this and see if you can get this or whatever. And she's like, "You know what? You need to teach a class." And I was like, "Girl, that I'm not doing that." And it was it was funny during COVID. There was a lot of stuff that was going on. She had contacted me and asked me about the EIDL and the PPP stuff, and my response was, "I don't want to do like all this paperwork. I don't got time for the government, whatever." She's like, "No, it's one page. You need to do this." So filled out the one page. She sent it to me. Filled out the one page. I called her back a couple days later, and she was like, "I called several people and told them the same thing, but a lot of people didn't have the paperwork or the documents that they needed in order to make this happen." And she was like, "It's only a couple of us that did." And I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." And so then just seeing like the George Floyd stuff happen, there was also a video that came out from an organization that says when travel starts back, make sure you use a travel agent.
Right.
Um, and everybody in that video did not look like me. Nobody in that video looked like me.
Right.
And it just, I sat here at my desk one day, I bought the domain, and I called Shantae and was like, "You've been telling me I need to do a class. Well, I'm not doing it by myself. Send me your headshot. I just bought this website. Let's do it." And she was like, okay. And from there, we just started. That's how we spent um, the next few months after that, just building the organization. And we launched finally in December 2020. So,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. That wow,
I
wow.
know it's a long story to get to what was the inspiration, but it was a compilation of a lot of things that we saw in the industry. Like I said, I came from the wholesale side, so I saw kind of that part of the industry. And then once I became an agent, a lot of times I would go to award shows and be one of only 3 or 4 blacks in the room.
Right.
I went to one event that I was, the only black woman in the room. So, and I'm like, I know there has to be other people out here doing what I'm doing. Like, I mean, I'm not that special that I'm the only person doing it. And I think it's just, it came from like a lack of not knowing what things were available. And so that was, one of the driving forces. Like, how do we help people become, get the tools and resources that they need to grow and develop their businesses?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was that like? I know you kind of touched on that a little bit, but what was the initial like vision of this association? And since from the beginning, how has it evolved over, since you all started that?
Yeah, so I think initially, and I want to say that I think our vision is still the same. Like, our goals are still kind of the same. It's just broadened on a bigger scale. So when we originally started, it was like we said, to just help grow and develop Black travel professionals in the business, and that's all skill levels, right? So a lot of the agents that are in our organization are new to the industry, so we provide a lot of information for them, and we're working on programs to help those agents that have been in the industry as long as me, because of course those agents already have connections with their BDMs and they already know how to navigate systems and things like that. So we're working on other programs to help those agency owners and those agents that may be ICs as well too. So I think that's just our main vision, is whatever tools and resources we can provide to just kind of help you stay in the business. Because I know before ABTP, obviously ABTP has introduced me to a bunch of agents in all areas of the country now. But before, I really only had like 1 or 2 people that I talked to about travel.
Right.
And I thought I knew, you only know what you know. But
Right.
being able to branch out and network and learn from these other agents. And I think that's one of the biggest things that ABTP that we do very well, is just offering those opportunities for people to network and just build that camaraderie with other agents.
Okay. Wonderful. I love it. I love it. I love it. So kind of to continue to kind of build on that, what are some other ways that you're able to like empower, African American, travelers or, travel advisors?
So one of the big things that we done, when we first started, most of the things that we were doing, we were targeting like suppliers in just like Mexico and Caribbean, because I told you I came from Travel Impressions. That's what Travel Impressions did very well, was Mexico and Caribbean. But what we've noticed with having ABTP is that a lot of places outside of the US, like even today, I had a Zoom call first thing this morning with a tour operator in Thailand that was like, I'm super interested in getting Black travelers over here to Thailand. And, he was telling me, I got the opportunity to go to Thailand a couple months ago, Shantae and I did. And it was crazy because, some of the stuff that we enjoyed was the stuff that he was telling us that, like, I know this is what Black people want when they come here. And I
Right.
think that this organization allows us to be able to go to those types of suppliers and say, okay, what is the Black experience going to be like? Because I think that, sometimes you don't understand what the dynamic is. Like what we're looking for when we travel, like the music, what's the vibe? Are people going to
Right.
treat me different because I'm Black, or they treat me different because I'm American? Like, that all just makes a difference for us when we travel. Like, okay, am I going to be safe? And those may not be concerns that other people have. So through ABTP, we're able to expose travel advisors to, able to expose travel advisors to those opportunities and to those new destinations, which in turn exposes their travelers to that, because now I can offer you other stuff because I know about it.
Right. Yeah.
So, and I can speak from a place of experience with it instead of just guessing or reading online or doing something that somebody else is doing. So I think that's one of the great things about ABTP that we're able to do too, is just expose people to those different destinations. We're going to, we have a fam trip going to Ghana. There's 18 of us going to Ghana next month in June.
Okay.
And all 18 of us, it's our first trip to Ghana.
Okay.
So that's, that's a great opportunity for us all to learn a new destination and be able to come back and take travelers there now.
Yeah, that's a hot
First,
spot too. That is
yeah,
a
yeah,
top
yeah,
spot
yeah,
for us. Yeah, yeah, that is.
yeah,
I'm getting a lot of people I see like on social media. They're like, Ghana is a spot to go to.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay,
So
all right,
it'll be good to actually, get to experience that. Like I did mention Thailand, and just seeing, you always see the pictures, and I've been hearing Thailand, Thailand, Thailand. And
right.
now to be able to go over there and tell people, okay, this is what to expect. Um, and those are opportunities, all, just those different types of places like that we're able to get people at in through ABTP.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, all right. So what are some of the kind of key goals that you both want to want to attain maybe in the next like few years or so?
Yeah, so obviously one is to continue to grow our membership. Our motto is support, educate, and advocate. So supporting travel agents and educating, those are the first two things. And then advocating. Like we are really serious about talking to suppliers about saying, those things like, hey, what is the experience for Black travelers, or what is your experience for Black travel agents? Why am I the only Black person at this event, or why are there only 4 or 5 of us? What can our organization do to help you grow? So that's kind of been our pitch to some of the suppliers in the industry. Like, hey,
Okay.
if you don't have an advisory board with Black people on it, we can recommend agents for you. It doesn't always have to be myself or Shantae doing the talking, because our agents know just as well what we need, as we do.
Right.
So just having those opportunities for our agents is going to be a huge thing for us, so that we can, I would love to be able to go to some of the other shows and industry events and seeing more of us. And it's getting there, because we have partnerships with a lot of agents. North Star Media Group has done very well with partnering with us, with making sure that we have representation at a lot of their events. Future Leaders, GTM West, ASTA has partnered with us, so we'll have more representation at their events as well. So I think that's one of our biggest goals, is just making sure that Black agents aren't left out when it comes to doing things. And all of our members aren't Black. We do have some Caucasian members, and that's important, because sometimes they're in rooms that we're not in. And so one of our things is, if you're looking around the room and you don't see any people of color, somebody needs to be asking the question of why, because people of color are failing. So why aren't we there? So that's probably like our biggest push that we would like to see over the next few years.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'm hoping everything continues to go in the right direction when it comes to that.
yeah, yeah.
So on the kind of the flip side of that, what are some unique challenges or obstacles that um, do you feel as though that um, us African American travel advisors we face today? Besides, obviously what you've already mentioned, what are maybe one or two other challenges?
Yeah, I think as an organization, one of our biggest challenges when we first started, and we still get it a little bit, but now that we're going into almost, 4 or 5 years of being in existence, is dying a little bit. But when we first started, it was just getting suppliers to take us seriously as an organization, because I think people thought, oh, maybe this is just a Facebook group, or are people just looking for, that free fam trip, or, that kind of thing.
Right.
So that has been a big challenge. But luckily, I think through the partnerships that we have and the caliber of agents that we're able to put in front of suppliers, that is kind of slowly going away. So that was a challenge. Um, Also, as an organization too, I think as a challenge is just making sure that people understand we're for everybody, as far as skill level goes. A lot of people say that our programs are great for entry level agents or new to the industry agents, but I mentioned before that we're still working on those programs to help some of the agents at a higher level. So
Right.
that's our challenge. And then just as in a broader scope of, suppliers just understanding why we're asking for different things. Like they don't get that, all music. I love all types of music, but when I'm bringing a group that is not me, that does not love all types of music, they want to hear something different at the pool. They want to hear, and just music, being able to see ourselves in marketing materials, all
Right.
of that stuff is like huge. And just having entertainment that is entertaining for everybody instead of, just one segment of the population, I think is probably one of our challenges. And just understanding that, because we had a conversation with a supplier who said they never even thought about. I have a group that won't travel unless they can bring their own DJ to the resort, because
Okay.
they know that, their people want to be able to do that. And I was talking to a supplier about that, and they were like, I never even thought about that before. So I think just those types of challenges, and just seeing, and then making people, one of the things that one of my personal goals this year, and it's not done with like malice intent, but it's to make people a little bit uncomfortable. And
Right.
I think you have to make people uncomfortable. And I mean, I can take it back too. It's the same. It's give and take. But when you try to stay politically correct, sometimes I think the point doesn't always get across. Then if you can just say, "Hey, let's be direct about it, and let me just tell you," instead of beating around the bush, and then let's figure out how we can do it. Because I think outside of our comfort zone is where change can actually happen.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Good, good, good. So you kind of touched on the next point too. I was going to ask you is how are you able to kind of overcome these challenges? So, I'm assuming that you're actually reaching out to the suppliers or tour operators, and you're having these discussions with them, which is very good.
Yeah, and it's, what, it's funny because it took, even though we had this, just being completely transparent, even though we had this organization, um I was still not, I don't want to say timid about it, but I was, just trying to stay, oh, I don't want us to come across as the angry black people or the angry black
Right.
organization, whatever. But then I realized, I was like, it's not coming from a place of anger. It's really just coming from a place of care, like wanting our industry to be great and wanting suppliers that I support. It's funny because I'm very loyal to certain brands. And when I hear people talk about the brands that I'm loyal to, because they're like, oh, they don't have any diversity. And I'm like, but they do, but they don't. So
Right.
it was great
Right.
to be able to go to some of those organizations and say, hey, I support you guys. I need you to support us back. So
Right.
just having those conversations is really going to be the way to overcome it. Because the black dollar, we know we travel, and we
Yeah.
know we spend money. So
Yeah. It's a
it's like,
win-win.
yeah,
It's
it's
a
like, don't
win-win.
ignore us. You can't keep ignoring us, because we're out here and we're spending dollars and we're supporting you. So we need that same support back.
Right. And
Yeah,
we travel all around the world,
all over the world.
all types of different levels of
Yep,
travel too.
yep,
So we're
yep,
not in this small box.
yep.
So
Absolutely, absolutely.
okay, okay. Um, have there been any like extreme maybe obstacles that you all had to maybe overcome by having this particular organization? Anything that you may have
Um,
encountered?
I don't think there's been like any extreme. Of course, with just our name being the Association of Black Travel Professionals, we did have some, like, early on, some messages like, "Oh, why can't we all just get along? Why does it have to be an organization just for Black agents?" But again, like I said, our organization is open to everybody. It's not just Black, but I felt like the Black was important to mention because we do have a certain set of, I don't want to say needs that make us sound like we crazy or something like that, but there are certain aspects of travel that are different for us, that are different for us as far as traveling, and as well as being a Black travel professional, because a lot of us don't know a lot of things. I mean, I was fortunate enough to come from that wholesale background and learn all of that stuff on the side, but that's a rarity. There's not many of us that do that. So it's great to be able to have this organization to do that. We've also been told by somebody that there's tourist boards and things that aren't supporting us because our name has Black in it, and if we were just the Association of Travel Professionals, maybe we would, if we could take the Black off. And my response to that was, I can't take the Black off. It's me.
Exactly.
I say we can't take the Black off, so it's not coming out of the name. So if that means you don't support us, then you don't support us. But we see that too, so that's and there's power behind Black dollars. So yeah,
you are absolutely right.
And we've been very careful not to like call out organizations that say stuff like that to us. But I think, and I get it. Like, it's still, our organization is only 4 years old, so it's still new. So people still have to get used to it. But there will probably be a point where we have to start saying, we've reached out to these people 16 times and they refuse to support us. So maybe we don't need to support them. But we aren't there yet. We're still open to working with and trying to build all the relationships that we can.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So as far as the members of your association, or anyone that is watching or may watch, after this live video, what are some of the, can you kind of highlight some of the key training programs that you have?
Yeah, sure. So we do, on Tuesdays, we have Training Tuesdays. That's like our staple event where we have different suppliers come on and talk. And also, in addition to those suppliers, because you can get supplier training anywhere, you can call your BDM up and get that. Right. But we also do like business development training, and those have been really beneficial. Like at the beginning of the year, it was tax season and getting prepared. We had an accountant come on and just talk about all the things that you should have in place to do your taxes. And if you didn't have them in place for this year, all the stuff that you needed to get in place for next year. And so just that type of class alone was worth the membership cost, right? Because if you had to pay for our consult with, accountant privately, you probably would have paid that money anyway. We've had attorneys on who talked about contracts that you should have as an agent, and just ways to protect yourself that way, talking about terms and conditions and things like that. So all of those business development classes, I think that's the biggest point, because if you remember, I said Shantae called me about those EIDL and PPP loans, and everybody didn't have their paperwork in order for that. We want to make sure that, God forbid, something like that happens to the world again. But if something like that does, we have the business side of travel. So I think travel is really good with helping people learn products and learn, destinations and about hotels and how to register your bookings for this, but nobody really teaches the business side of it. And that's where I think a lot of agents lack, in the business side of running their travel business. They got the travel part, is the business side, learning systems and operations and, all that kind of stuff. So those are some of the key trainings that we do. We also have an annual summit every year. This year, our summit is in Louisville, Kentucky, August 15th through 18th. So it's an opportunity to actually get to meet agents. We have agents all across the country that come in for this event. We have suppliers come in. There's networking with the agents, the suppliers. We have a little trade show component, and then just more of the classes that we do. Also, Shantae and I offer one-on-one coaching. Not necessarily coaching, but one-on-one. Like, if you have an idea, we're not going to help you put your whole business plan together. But if you have an idea, like if you've never done a group, Shantae has done a resort buyout and had 600 plus people at a resort before. So if that's something that you aspire to do, or you want to talk about how she handled all the operations and getting 600 people there, that's something that you can call her and talk about. She's a guru when it comes to social media marketing and doing all that kind of stuff. So, that's the person to call. I've been in doing groups and destination weddings this entire time that I've been in business by myself. So again, that's something. So, and then sometimes it's just, hey, I created this form online and I need somebody to make sure it works before I send it to a customer. So we're here to help do any of those type of things with agents. So yeah.
Okay. Now, how many members do you have right now?
So we are about 1,500 members across the country. With ABTP. So it's growing like wildfire. And it's funny because we still get, you would think after this point, we wouldn't want to get these emails, but we still get excited. When I see the email, we had like 3 or 4 people join today. And I saw the emails come in that, this person joined. I'm like, yay. I still get excited about that to grow. And we always invite members to schedule a call with me or Shantae when you first join, just to make sure that we know who you are. And I mean, obviously we don't intimately know 1,500 people, but it's still good to keep in mind, like we get opportunities all the time. People will call us to write for Compass Magazine. We've had somebody get interviewed on the news in New York, just all these opportunities. And, we're like, hey, this is the person that we thought about. We just sent a couple of members were able to go to Indaba, which is in South Africa, which is a fully hosted trip by South African tourism. And the people that went were people who had contacted us and asked us questions about South Africa. So it was like, oh, you want to go South? You got questions about South Africa? Hey, apply for this opportunity. Let me pass your name on. So those are the people that we want. We want to get to know the members and know your business and know even, for you to know other people, because they'll hear of opportunities and be able to share that. And that's how we're all able to, just help each other grow.
Yeah. Love that. That's the power of networking.
Exactly.
Yeah, the power of networking. So I know you mentioned about all these different, the summits, and how do you choose like your, the summits and where they're going to be for this particular year, or any of the FAMs that you put together? Is there like a strategic way that you all go about doing it, or is it based on like feedback?
Yeah, no. So our summits are usually, we try to have them in cities where we have sponsorship. So Louisville Tourism is a huge partner for us. And, we just had a lunch with them in Charlotte last week. They sponsored a lunch for some new members and prospective members in the Charlotte area. So we look at destinations. We're talking to some of our other destination partners for 2025. And then as far as our FAM trips, we do take suggestions for those. People have contacted us and said, hey, put a FAM together for this, put a FAM together for that. So we try to work with, suppliers and DMCs in those areas to be able to put those different opportunities together to see if it, if it works. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Excellent. Any success stories from any of the summits or FAMs?
So one of our biggest success stories is Cynthia Hayes with Hayes Executive Travel she's in Dallas, Texas, a suburb of Dallas, but Dallas is the metro area. Okay. We were contacted through our partnership with American Airlines. A university had contacted them and said, hey, we're looking for a Black travel agent to handle all of our travel for the university. And that's just, that's our faculty members that have to travel, as well as any student organizations that, are doing school related trips or anything like that. And we needed them to have access to the GDS and to be able to do their own ticketing. And Cynthia was someone we had met. She had GDS access and does her own ticketing. And so through that, I think it was a 7-figure contract with that university to be able to do that. So that was a huge success story for her. And then also we had Kenneth Smith with Dreams Come True Travel in New Jersey. He won a prize at the summit with Ama Waterways. He won a river cruise. From that, he actually start selling river cruises, which was something he had not sold before at all. And it was twofold. One, he got another stream of revenue for his business, as well as Amma was like, hey, we gave away one cruise to this guy at the summit and he started selling. We need to go back and see what we can do to get some other people selling. And because of that, ABTP actually has a charter with Amma Waterways on their Columbia sailing for 2025. So
Wow.
we chartered a
Okay.
ship for our members to either one sell for themselves or buy into for their clients to be able to sail with us. So we're doing that in Columbia in next year in October.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow,
Yes.
that's great. I love hearing that. Okay, okay, all right. All right, so let's get into the community and more of the impact of your association. So, um, how or what are some ways that you all engage maybe with, I don't know if you all engage with any of your local communities or regional communities when it comes to African American travel?
So we do not have local chapters just yet. We're still building and trying to figure out where we can start that and which cities we have the biggest concentration of members on. So
Okay.
we haven't really done anything locally as far as that goes. But one of the things that we have incorporated into the summit as of last year, the places where we have the summit, we do some type of give back. So last year we were in Las Vegas and they have a huge homeless population. So we asked our members to bring toiletries and things like that for a homeless shelter in Vegas. And so we collected
Okay.
probably over 200 items for the homeless shelters to be able to pass out to people. So it's one of those things where it's not necessarily affecting the travelers, but it's showing the community that, the Black travel agent community is here and we are giving back to our community. That's one of the biggest things that I tell people about booking with a travel agent is that when you use a travel agent, you're supporting a small business possibly in your community. So it's important for us to give back to those communities as well.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So what based off of your efforts with this association, um what impact have you seen from the members as far as what you all have done so far?
I think what you know what is crazy and it sounds kind of like corny or whatever, but I really feel like ABTP has built a little like family with us. Like seriously, we go on fam trips and we get to know each other on those fam trips and some of us still like hang out afterwards. Like there's an agent that I had known. I met him years ago on another fam by a hotel, but after he went on the ABTP fam, it was like, hey, we need to start having a weekly call. So we have weekly calls with each other. And it's funny, I tell people you can tell when the relationship has progressed because when you first meet somebody, you might text them and say, hey, can I give you a call? Do you have a minute? Now is I just pick up the phone and call. And I think that is great. Obviously it's great on a personal level to build those relationships, but on a professional level, it gives you that extra resource because we can't know everything about everything. So literally that person that I call every week now, he stays at Unico in Mexico all the time. And I just had a group there and the person asked me what was the premium liquor. I was like, let me text Callan and find out because I know he knows because he stays there all the time. So it makes me look smart and I didn't have to wait, forever with my clients. So I think that's like the biggest takeaway I think from having ABTP is just
Okay.
building those relationships and that sense of like our travel family with each other.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So on that same topic, um, what can you name any collaborations or partnerships you have? I know personally I've seen you. I know it may not be a partnership, but I know with my host agency, I've seen your name under the associations. But do you have any, I would guess, say maybe special collaborations or partnerships with anyone?
Yeah, so we have several members that actually are DMCs in
Okay.
places. So Antoine Wilson owns Melanated Safaris. out
Okay.
of Tanzania. So he's located here in Miami. He was a travel agent. He started this whole company. So
Hmm.
we have partnered with him. Like if somebody calls us about Tanzania, I'm telling them to call Antoine. So
Okay.
those are the different partnerships too that we're able to bring business to them. As far as collabs, I know I've seen a couple of agents that have gotten together to like try to book a group at hotels. I know there was one agent that put together this huge cruise. They had like 100 plus cabins, and several agents had kind of went in on that with them together. So there are collaborations that are happening with agents within ABTP to do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah,
That's good. That's always good to have that.
yeah.
So we're going to touch on diversity and inclusion. So how does ABTP contribute to the broader conversation when it comes to diversity and inclusion within the travel industry?
Yeah, so Shantae and I both we're both really passionate about that. And it's funny, we play off of each other. Like, some days she's the bad guy and I'm like, well, let's calm down, let's. And then when I get riled up, she'd be like, okay, V, calm down. But one of the things that we try to do is offer to all the suppliers that are partners with us, like, hey, if you have a board or an advisory board of agents, let us recommend somebody from ABTP to be on that board so that they can tell you, ideas and things that we may be of interest to us here at ABTP. So we are trying to work with suppliers to get in those advisory board positions, and to just talk to them, be able to have conversations. Like we ask all of our members, if you have a really close relationship with a BDM, make sure that they know that you're a part of ABTP and what we're about, so that they can take that back to say, hey, there's this organization, so that when you start doing things and you start putting activities together, you're thinking about, diversity and inclusion in that. So it's not just something that's just, for the broader masses, but it's something that is inclusive for everybody.
Nice. Very, very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Okay. Um, I know you mentioned it a little while ago, but are there any other like barriers that you all were able to kind of break through since the beginning?
I think one of our biggest barriers is that, people see an organization with Black professionals. And I mean, literally, Shantae and I were standing there talking to somebody, telling them that we were the Association of Black Travel Professionals. And he was like, oh, so you're with IntelliTravel? And not that I'm going after IntelliTravel, because I know that that's how a lot of people get into the industry, through that. But that multi-level marketing stigma does tend to follow Black agents more. And so
Okay.
because of that, that was one of the huge things that we had to do, because it was like, where did you hear us say IntelliTravel? You just looked at us and you saw we were Black and you thought IntelliTravel. And so we had that stigma to kind of overcome, I think, because it was like, oh, are these people, again, like I said in the beginning, like, what is this organization? Is it really an organization? Is it a Facebook group? What are these people trying to do?
Right.
So I think that was like the biggest thing, just trying to overcome, and the fact that we're still here 4 years later and we really are an actual company with operating procedures and registered with the state and business, like, just all of that stuff that comes with running a
Right.
business. I think that has spoke volumes, and that's been a great way to break that barrier, to let people know that, hey, this is a group of serious people about their business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your plans? What are your plans to reach more, I guess, and impact more, I guess, in the future?
Yeah, so we're just really trying to spread the word. One of the things that we've been working on is like our ambassador program. So we're working on a program to try to get people who are spokespeople for ABTP. We do have our advisory board that is out there. Our advisory board, it consists of, very high end agents to suppliers from different industries. We have a hotel supplier, we have a cruise line supplier as a a rep on our advisory board. And so those years of experience that coming from that other background, they're able to tell other suppliers about us. Some of our advisory board members are attending like luxury events that we aren't necessarily at yet, but they can say to those suppliers, hey, this is an organization you should look at. So we're really just trying to spread the word as much as we can about ABTP. Will be this year will be our first year exhibiting at Cruise World. So if anybody is attending Cruise World, ABTP will have a booth at Cruise World. So come by and say hello to me and Shantae. So we're trying to get out into that space now where we're, being seen at some of these other bigger shows with people.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. All right. So for you personally, what has been, I would say, what has been the most rewarding aspect of being like the president, the co-founder of this association?
I think for me, it's just working with people. I'm a people person. Shantae laughs at me all the time because we go places and I will have struck up a conversation with the person on the plane with me. And by the time we get off the plane, I'll be like, Shantae, this is my new best friend. So so I think that's been one of the greatest things is just building that network of agents and just being able to genuinely help people. I truly believe that, if I leave this world and nobody can say that Veranda had a positive impact on their life, then what did I really live for? And so that's kind of how I try to live my life every day. And so I just really want to genuinely help people. And Shantae is the same way. Like if we, we like to say that we don't know everything, but everything that we know, we're willing to share. So we're not gatekeepers, and just being able to build that network with people and have agents to talk to has probably been the best part of ABTP for me.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way about. I've only had a conversation with you so far, but I feel like the conversations we've had. You've been open. You've been willing to tell your story, and that's really good. It's really good. So, what advice would you give to other maybe other travel advisors, maybe within the industry, who might be trying to build something similar to yours, that it will be, I guess, in that realm of underrepresented communities, such as Black travel professionals?
Yeah, I definitely would say, be in a position to want to be vocal, be in a position to want to be vulnerable, because, again, like I mentioned early, it's give and take. So I can't sit here and give to these people and tell them, oh, you better and you need to do this, because they may come back to me and say, well, your organization needs to do XYZ. So you have to be in that space to want to receive information as well. It's not just telling people what they're doing wrong, but understanding some of the things that we do wrong. And it's not just Black agents. I mean, I don't know if anybody saw today. I just saw the email yesterday, I think, but John DiOrio from Virgin Voyages had to come out and talk about stuff that agents were doing, period. So it's one of those things. Just know that people are watching. Like if you're going to do something like this, people are watching everything. And even when you don't think people are looking at you, you'll see something to say that. So just be ready to be thrust in that public eye, kind of within the travel industry. I always laugh. The first event that I went to after we started ABTP was ALG Ascend in 2021. And normally I go to these conferences, and it's funny, as much as I like to talk to people, usually I go to conferences, I go to what I need to go to, and then I go back to my room and I'm like watching Netflix and ordering. And I went to Ascend and people were like, oh my God, Veranda. And Shantae was not there with me. And I called her, I went back to my room. I was like, these people know who I am. I'm not used to people knowing who I am.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to go out. It was getting out of my comfort zone a little bit, because I do go out now after those events to just mingle and talk to people. And it's not about, oh, I want to get visibility for ABTP. It's about genuinely like letting people know, like, this isn't just something that we're doing to say we have this organization. Is really how Shantae and I live our lives. in wanting to help people. So I can't say I want to help people and then I'm around people and I go to my room and watch Netflix. So I would just say for anybody that's trying to do that, just make sure you want to be in that public eye and this is really what you're passionate about, because a lot of times you're doing it for the love of the organization and not necessarily for a monetary gain or for notoriety or anything like that. Is really has to be your passion. Yeah.
Yes, I totally
Yeah.
agree with that. Yes, yes, indeed. All right. So, how do you all keep up with the industry trends and different developments that might be happening, within the travel industry?
When I tell you we are on social media, Shantae is always sending me like groups to join. We're talking to suppliers, having regular meetings, trying to figure out things. Asta has been a great partner with us for keeping up with everything that's going on in the industry. We went to the Asta Premium Business Summit and it was like mind blowing because it wasn't your normal, hey, we have great hotels here, see our products. We actually talked about what was going on in the airline industry and how those
Okay.
fees affect us. We talked about legal issues and actual lawsuits that were happening, in DC against the travel industry. So that's been a really great partnership for us to be able to keep up with that, to be able to share that information with our members.
Okay. So you're getting the inside scoop a little bit,
Okay.
do you see any trends going in the right direction or maybe not the right direction when it comes to African American travel?
Um, I do know that there are the people who get it. Like the guy that I told you I talked to earlier today from Thailand, he got it. Like he really got it. Like he mentioned, some key things that I saw when I went to Thailand that was like these are things that African American travelers want to do it. So I think the people that get it, they really get it and they understand like, okay, this is what travelers are looking for, because I've had clients ask me, is there any resort that does African American travel entertainment or whatever better than some other chains? So I think the people that get it really get it, and they're starting to understand that our dollars matter, because like we said earlier, we go everywhere. You know
Yeah,
we'll go.
we
And
will.
especially if we see a place that looks like it has some pretty good food, some there, we like, okay, we're gonna get on this plane for 18 hours to stay over here 3 days, but we going, so
Yeah. Yep.
so that I think that's been one of the trends when so it's really good when I talk to somebody and they say, okay, we understand what you're saying. So I think that is getting to be more, and they're starting to see there's other organizations besides us that are doing things in media to make sure black travelers are being recognized and accounted for. So yeah, I think that's one of the trends is starting to see. It's slow, it's not as fast as I would want it to be, but I do see a change. Right after COVID, there was this push. A lot, everybody was talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and then it kind of died down a little bit.
Yes.
So one of our things was, okay, let's not let it die down. We have to make sure, we keep on that upward movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's good. So we live in the world of technology. So, are there any things in the tech world that is currently or will be maybe influencing your association or the members of your association?
Yeah. So one of the classes that we've been talking about having at the summit this year is a class more in depth on AI. And just how you can put that together. Shantae and I have been playing with some AI stuff just for our personal agencies. And
Hmm.
so just learning how, like, I put all my social media stuff together with AI. She created some other stuff with AI, just things that she needed as well. And so it's just, I definitely think technology is going to be the key. Like, even, we were laughing yesterday, even when I first started doing my group travels, it was on Excel spreadsheets and sending room and list over and all this other stuff
Yeah,
now. So just being able to keep up with all the different technologies. Now there's so many things that people can use for CR systems. We got Travel Joy, Vacation CRM, Travelify, just like
yeah,
all this stuff that we didn't have. So I definitely think that in order for people to stay relevant in travel, they're gonna have to start using, before it was as long as you had a website and you could pick up the phone and call somebody. But now I have clients that I can't get to answer the phone. But if I send them an email, they respond in 5 minutes.
right, right.
So it's that being able to keep up with that type of technology is definitely gonna be important for travel agents to stay relevant.
Yeah, that's true. Especially with
Yeah.
AI, they're
Yeah.
pushing this AI,
Yeah.
on everyone. So we definitely have to kind of stay up on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're getting towards the end, so this is one of the most important parts
Okay.
is membership. How can people sign up to
Yes.
be a member and be part of this beautiful association?
Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, so on our website is abtprofessionals.org. So, abtprofessionals.org. You can go on, you'll find out information about membership. Membership is $109 for the year. So very affordable. Our motto with that has always been, let's try to, I probably shouldn't say this on live, but the suppliers have more money than the travel agents do. So we try to fund most of our programs through the support of our suppliers. So that's why we're very I mean, membership is open to everybody, but when it comes to going on FAMs and opportunities and things like that, that's why we want to get to know our members, so that in turn, if we're going to keep asking suppliers to fund all of the programs that we need at ABTP, we want to make sure that we're giving back to our suppliers as well. So we try to keep membership as low as possible. So $109 for the year, that gives you access to like our FAMs and things like that as well. Our training classes, the one-on-ones with me and Shantae. So that's it. On our website, we're on all of the social media outlets as Black Travel Pros. If you add us at Black Travel Pros, we'll come up as well too. So definitely follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
There you have it, everyone. Veranda Adkins, she gave a lot. As I mentioned before, I was excited when I first had these conversations with you, and I'm hoping that anyone who watches this will see the value and the benefit of being part of your association. I know that I definitely have to make some steps to obviously join you guys, and so I just truly appreciate you taking out the time. It's been almost an hour or so. You're going over what you've created for the past 4 years. So I just want to say thank you so much. And I wish you all nothing but the best in your endeavors and empowerment for Black travel professionals and others. So unless you have anything else, maybe we could open it up to some questions. If anyone, I know I see some people on here. If you all have any questions for Veranda, please do so. You can put it in the comment section. But yeah, who
I
we
see
have
I
here?
see a couple of our members, and I see LaShante over there saying that we're
Remember
great.
here?
So thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Yeah, Lashante. Yeah, Lashante. Yes, yes. I've talked to her. Who else we have? We have Linda. So thank you. Evie Wright. Who else we had on here? Karen, Laquita. Um,
Oh, there's Sherilyn too. Okay.
oh, you know Shirley?
hmm
Oh, Shirley is she be on it. She's like, when does it start? Like anything that I have going on, she is there. I'm telling you,
Nice,
she's one of the most
nice.
dedicated travel advisors that I know. So
Yeah,
definitely
and that's
shout out.
you know what that's the other thing too that I tell people with their membership in ABTP. We recently had somebody. Again, I told you it's our passion. ABTP is our passion. We had somebody who said they weren't renewing their membership because they didn't get anything out of it. And I was like, and I'm not offended by it, but if anything, it was like, oh my God, what do we need to do better? So
Right.
I called Shantae and I was like, hey, do you know this person? And we didn't know that person. And so that told me that that person didn't participate. So somebody like Sherilyn, who's at everything, those are the type of members that we want, like almost make us sick of seeing you, because we're not going to get sick of seeing you, but it's going to keep us in, keep you in our mind. And I think
Yeah.
those are the people that get the most out of, you can join all the Facebook groups and all the organizations in the world, but if you don't actually actively participate, and like I said at the beginning, I'm not really social on social media, but I was like, God had a plan that day that I responded to Shantae, because I looked at it about 3 or 4 times before I answered her. And it took us from 2017 to 2020 to get to an ABTP. But it's about being involved and about actually showing up to stuff. So
Right.
kudos to all the people who show up.
Right. Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we don't have any questions, but I mean, they have your information. I'll definitely make sure that it's shared to everyone. But like I said, thank you once again. I really appreciate it, and I'm definitely looking forward to further conversations in the future with you, as far as anything when it comes to the travel industry. So
All
thank you
right.
again.
That was good.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.